Welcome everyone to our Spring 2025 pre-advising video. In today's video, I will be presenting the slides. My name is Lena Anton. I am the undergraduate advising and tutoring coordinator. And with us today, we have Jennifer Eraso. She is our graduate student leader, and she will be shadowing some of your appointments today because she is currently in the master's program for counseling at CSUB. Jennifer, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Jennifer will also be helping us with our class searches, how to apply for graduation for the spring semester, and how to check your to-do items and your registration. So let's go ahead and get started. We will be providing you with a lot of general information today. The information in this video is supposed to assist you so that when you do your one-on-one advising with your faculty or staff advisor, that you have this foundational knowledge of your requirements. When you actually meet with an advisor, you will be giving very specific information on your particular requirements for graduation, what to do next, et cetera, et cetera. So this is general, but it is still necessary so that you have a very good understanding of the requirements outside of it. We will be having advising workshops for the spring semester, probably starting October 1st. During these workshops, they're very small. We have about 6 students in there. You will see both faculty and staff advisors available to meet with you. And it really doesn't matter who you meet with at that point. But if you do have individual appointments, your individual appointments will be with your faculty advisors. So for those of you in the Child, Adolescent, and Family Studies major, you will be meeting with Dr. Reed. For criminal justice, you'll be meeting with Dr. Taylor. Religious studies, will be meeting with Dr. Lamas. If you're a sociology major, you'll have a choice of either meeting with Dr. Rubin or meeting with Professor Sanchez. It's only those students who have no faculty advisor assigned that will meet with either Melissa or me for your one-on-one appointments. But for the workshops, you'll have a choice of either of us at that point. All appointments are scheduled through Runner Connect. So if you're not familiar, you just type runnerconnect/csub.edu and it will take you straight through the Runner Connect system to schedule your appointment. But you can also schedule your appointment by calling our front desk. Remember to press option 4 to speak with the front desk, or you can stop by the 100 building and then talk to them about scheduling your appointment. We will be sending out invitations to all students to come in. Even if you have no advising role, you are welcome to come in and talk to us about your classes for the spring semester. Here is a list of our faculty advisors. If you haven't met them yet, you will soon because they also teach your core classes for you. Our virtual office is available 24/7. We tend to post a lot of information there. I didn't mean to bypass so fast. We have a lot of information there, like our walk-ins, days, and times. This is going to be very important, the override request for whenever you need help. Adding a class, the system is just not responding to. We also have links here for the tutoring center, the calendar of events. This takes you directly to Runner Connect to schedule your appointment. And then you also have a link to our university catalogs in case you have questions about your requirements. Our tutorial videos, we have multiple CSUB AB specific tutorial videos that you can access through our YouTube channel. You can click on that and you various topics that we've explained in there and step-by-step process if you For those of you who are in need of tutoring services, there are 2 different things you can do for tutoring. You can go into the tutoring website, which is csub.edu/tutoring, and you can look for the Zoom options that we have available through the main campus in Bakersfield. We also have 2 in-person tutors here at AV. We have Brock, who tutors for the BA 3010 class. These days and times are in the slide in there. And we also have sociology, for sociology, Christine, who is also here on campus for in-person appointments during hours and appointments. And yes, Jennifer, this will continue. I'll keep tripping over this. It's okay. It happens. Okay. Another option that we have for fully online tutoring is a net tutor. If you haven't yet registered for your account, you go to nettutor.com/CSUBNT. They'll ask you to come up with a username and then to put in your CSUB email address. Make sure this is very important to do the CSUB email address. And then they'll send you a temporary password that you'll be able to change after that. So NetTutor is professional tutors. They all have at least a bachelor's degree, but most of them have a master's or a PhD that do live video, audio, or chat. You can drop off questions, you can drop off papers, and then they get back to you. If at any point you're registering for your account and they ask you for payment information, you went to the wrong link. You have to go specifically through here. The tutoring services have already been paid for by the university, so these should be free to access. Registration announcements. Registration is coming up October 21st. Prior to October 24th, you can put classes in your shopping cart as soon as you get a registration date. As of today, registration dates have not been posted, so we'll do our best to show you how to do certain things. Do remember that classes at CSUB AV have different formats. We have in-person classes, ITD classes, Zoom classes, online classes, and hybrid classes. There is no way to avoid any one of these given formats. Your classes will be a combination of any of these. And depending on your major, they may be heavily in one format more than the other, but they tend to be mixed. We do not have any fully online programs here at CSUB-AV. So you are looking at a combination. We also don't have fully in-person degrees. Everything is mixed. So just giving everyone a heads up, because we do hear that a lot. Well, I wish it was all online, or I wish it was all in person. It's going to be a combination, okay, depending on the classes and depending on your faculty availability. Tuition fees are due Thursday before school starts. That is every semester. So it doesn't matter when you register for classes, your tuition fees will always be due Thursday before school starts. So the sooner you register, the better. We will be having Zoom walk-ins and in-person walk-ins available prior to registration. We have them daily for an hour. You can go to our virtual office to see the specific days and times listed. The first week of registration, we usually have walk-ins the full day to assist students with any issues they may have as they're trying to register. These are one-on-one meetings, but they are quick. They're like 5-10 minutes most. This is not a time when we prepare advising paperwork for you or we help you change your major or minor. This is more specific to registration issues. And do remember that if you have a registration issue, you can submit an override request through the virtual office 24/7, and we will process it when we get back into the office the very next day. Or we will also process them as we receive them. So this is now the time when Jennifer is going to start helping us out. To view your degree audit or your academic requirements page, you will need to go into your student portal. So Jennifer, can you go ahead and share your screen with us now?
There it is.
Awesome. Okay. So a couple of things to note in your student portal. You're going to see your schedule on the left-hand side, right here. Okay, you're going to see the search for classes button on the top right-hand side, and right underneath, you're going to see holds. If you have any holds, they'll be listed here. Holds prevent you from registering into classes. So make sure that you clear any holds you may have on your account that are listed there. Items on your to-do list, which is right underneath, these do not prevent you from registering, but these are things that you need to pay attention to, because if you leave them there long enough, they ultimately end up being rules. So pay attention to your to-do list items. A lot of the to-do list items tend to be financial aid related. But you don't want anything blocking your financial aid. If you have any items listed in either of these categories, you will see a yellow details button right underneath each of those sections that will tell you who put that item there and what do you need to do to clear it. Okay. Right underneath that, you can see your registration appointment. Again, as of today, nobody has been assigned a registration appointment. When you have one, you will have the date listed here, but you will need to click on that day to view the time. Not everyone registers at the same time, and not all enrollments start at midnight or 8 a.m. the next day. So you have to click on that particular date to see if you're registering at 8 a.m. or at 1 p.m., because that makes a huge difference. So a couple of things here to view your academic requirements page. Right next to the search for classes, there's the 3 hamburger lines on your academics line. You're going to click there. And right underneath, you see academic requirements. You're going to click on that, and that takes you to your live degree audit. Now, when we do your advising, we tend to do a PDF version of this and email it to you with certain notes. But just remember that you always have access to the live version of this as you're registering for classes, and this live version updates automatically. Let's go back to the home page. And another thing that I want to show you in your student center is how to search for both your major classes and your general education classes. So let's go ahead and click on search for classes on the top right-hand side. And the first thing you always want to make sure you do is you change the term to whatever the current term is. We're going to change this to the spring 2025 semester. And then for major classes, we're going to select a subject. If your major is business administration, your classes will be under those different department categories like business administration, management information systems, that kind of stuff. For those of you in CAFS, it'll just say child, adolescent, and family studies. For those of you in sociology, it'll just be under sociology and so on. For this example, let's go ahead and pick sociology. One of the very important things everybody has to do when they do class searches is you need to click on the gray bar at the bottom that says additional search criteria in order to expand the filters. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and then towards the end, you're going to see a filter there that says location. Note, it's not campus. It sounds like campus, but it's not campus. It's going to be location, and you're going to select Antelope Valley. Also note there's multiple things that sound like Antelope Valley. We only want the one that says Antelope Valley. Okay. And now you can click search. So we need subject and a location. And now all the classes that are offered for the spring semester for this major will show up. Notice the instruction mode has different color coding depending on whether the class is face-to-face, fully online, on Zoom, ITV. So you'll know the type of format that class is in. You will also be able to see the days and times that a particular class is offered. If the class is fully online, do know those days and times will say TBA, but fully online classes do not have a day and time that they meet. You're going to see in the class notes for a fully online class, it says this class will be fully online. Students in this class will receive all content on Canvas. This class does not have assigned meeting times, and there will be no scheduling. Okay, so don't expect that TBA to be listed into something else later on. Fully online classes do not have days and times that you need to meet. The Zoom ones, the face-to-face, the hybrid, all of those will have a day and time listed, depending on when you're supposed to be on campus or logging into your Zoom account. Okay, let's scroll all the way down and then click on Modify Search. To search for general education requirements, one of the first things we need to do is we need to clear the subject. So go ahead and scroll all the way to the top where it says Select. So we have no subject. We're going to use the filters once again. So scroll all the way down, and under the location filter, where it says course attributes, select upper division general F. So scroll all the way to the bottom, upper division general F. And this is how you find your upper division B, C, or D classes. In the drop-down menu underneath, you'll be able to select whether you need the upper division B, which is your sciences, upper division C, which is your arts and humanities, or upper division D, which is your social sciences. So let's go ahead and select upper division C, because I know they have some of those already listed. So go ahead and click search. So when you select the course attribute like this, you know that any class listed here will count towards that requirement. So here we have two options. We have Explorations in Scriptures, which is over Zoom, Mondays and Wednesdays at 3:30. Or we have the Spiritual Quest, which is a hybrid class meeting Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. When you are able to select classes to put in your shopping cart, the select button will show right next to the instruction. So currently it's a little early to add classes to the shopping cart, but we do have a tutorial video showing you how to proceed after that. Usually you click select, continue, and then it goes into the shop. Go ahead and click on modify search for me, Jennifer. So now if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's other two, there are two other GE courses that we can do searches for. Under course attribute, change upper division general ed. Under course attribute, right on top. Go ahead and change upper division general ed to graduation writing assessment. Okay. This is for your GWAR requirement, your writing requirement. If we click search, last time we checked, there were no classes. Yep. So that means they haven't posted them yet, but this is how you search for your GWAR class. There are usually typically two GWAR classes listed for AD. That is English 3109, which is modes of writing, and English 3119, which is advanced writing. They're both the same level of writing classes. It's just they have different formats. And if you have a particular choice, preference for the format of the class. Okay, and then the last category that we can choose from instead of the graduation writing assessment is you can select junior year diversity reflection. And this is going to be for your JYDR requirements. So go ahead and click search. And then once again, any and all classes that fulfill this requirement will show up here along with the instruction mode and days and times, instructors, etc. One last thing we wanted to do on your portal is for those of you graduating this spring, we're going to show you how to apply for graduation. So let's go to your little house on the top left. And in that same three hamburger lines where we saw the academic requirements, we're going to go ahead and click on that. On the left-hand side, click on apply for graduation. Click on apply for graduation again. And then in here, you're going to select the term. Currently, the only term available is spring 2025. If you are not graduating spring 2025, do not apply for graduation yet. It just means that application period is not yet available. So when you read this, it does tell you that there is a $70 payment fee. The payment is not due at the time that you apply. It is simply due at some point before you are expected to graduate. Very similar to your orientation fee. You'll have to go under make payment, select it, and then pay it through there. You are not going to receive a bill. It's not going to show up in your holds and your to-dos. You're simply going to have to pay it at some point before you're expected to graduate. Okay, so in here, go ahead and click continue. And then the last thing you need to do is just click submit application. And it'll tell you you'll have successfully applied for graduation. The one thing we didn't do is explain on your degree audit a couple of things. One of them is any classes that have been completed will have either a check mark or the purple triangle. As confusing as the purple triangle is, that means met. Anything currently in progress will have this little green clock on it. And that just means a grade hasn't been posted, but it shows that you're enrolled in it. And lastly, it'll have the red X for anything that you haven't yet completed or are currently in progress. We usually highlight these in your PDF paperwork, but obviously the live degree audit doesn't have the highlights. So pay close attention to the red X's as you go. For units, we will, in your advising paperwork, include the unit grid, which is kind of confusing. So I kind of want to break it down a little bit. Every student is required to complete 120 units in order to graduate. Within these 120 units, no more than 70 can come from a community college. So we start tracking right there. Have you completed more than 70? And if so, we're going to cap it at 70 right there. No more than 90 can be completed at another university because you're supposed to complete at least 30 of them at CSUB. So we're going to track if you have anything other than community college credit. We also count credits like AP, CLEP exams, etc. We then check, no, I'll leave some of these markings over here. We check if you've earned any courses at CSUB, and if so, we add everything up and it tells you what your current number of units completed is. Then we check what you have in progress for that particular semester, okay? And then we tell you what we expect you to have by the end of that term. The units at the bottom is what we expect you to need after the current semester is complete. If we add everything up and your required courses is less than your minimum units needed for the degree, we'll let you know that you need university electives here. If this number is 0, that means you don't need university electives. You just need to complete your required coursework and you'll have enough units total scratch. So if nothing else, just look at the highlights. And we can explain this to you when we do your one-on. Okay. Upper division units are listed towards the bottom. These are your 3,000, 4,000 level courses. We make sure that you'll have at least 24 done at CSUB, but these 40 are included in the 120. So these are not in addition to the 120. You don't have to do 160 units. Still 120. It's the 40 of these 120 need to be 3,000, 4,000 level. Resident units simply means taking at CSUB, so we'll make sure we track those as well, so that you have all minimums in all different areas. As far as GPAs are concerned, all the university requires is a 2.0 in CSUB coursework, your major coursework, your minor, if you have a minor, and then your overall. Your overall GPA includes your transfer coursework and your CSUB coursework, regardless of whether it counts for the major, GE, electives, etc. So we kind of already went over holds. These are all the possible holds you can have on your account. Student financial services is usually when you owe money to the university, whereas the student financial agreement is just a disclaimer on how tuition fees. If you have an advising hold, we will clear that for you at the time that we send your advising paperwork to. Items in your to-do list, like I mentioned, they're most likely financial aid related, so make sure you get these through so that it doesn't create a hold on your financial aid. Advising holds are usually placed once per academic year, so don't be surprised if you see it again and you're like, just don't you. Enrollment appointment will be towards the bottom, and you'll have to click on details for the specific time. Okay. We went over how to do the class searches, so I think we are good there. This can just be a bit of a cheat sheet for you. Make sure that you leave the open classes only marked as default, and that you check on the additional search criteria with the location analyst. And then for the GE classes, of course, same thing, except you leave the subject blank. And then you have the different categories under course attribute. And then the course attribute value is for your upper division B, C, or D. Okay. A couple of things to note. Main campus classes will be listed as specifically main campus with the enrollment requirement. This means this class is not available for CSUB AV students. You will need to enroll in classes that say Antelope Valley specific. There are a few classes that do say that they're open to both main campus or AV campus, and they'll be noted like this. It'll say main or AVC, but the location will be listed as main campus. This is normal because these classes tend to be online, but the departments have opened it to both campuses so that either campus can enroll in them. Courses like this tend to be like the kinesiology courses, walking, jogging, bicycling, that kind of thing. Or if your department has decided to open a particular class to both campuses. If you submit an override request for a class that is restricted to main campus students, the only way we can process that request is if one, the requirement is not offered at CSUB AV and you need it to graduate that particular. If the course itself is not required for you or it's just a preference, we are not authorized to put you in that class manually without consent. So we'll let you know if that's the case. If you're running into issues, you can always come in during walk-ins or see us during advising and we'll walk you through the process. Okay. Winter session. For those of you who are interested in doing winter, the information is already posted in the Extended University's website. I put it in here in case you want it. It will run from January 2nd through January 15th. This is approximately 10 days of instruction. So you do have a class that is 16 weeks long, compacted into 10 days. There is no financial aid available. You are paying out of pocket, which is $360 per unit, and you are limited to only one class. Now, the class may be up to 4 units, but you don't get to combine these units. So if you take a 1 unit class, then that is your one max class. Okay. There is no AV or main classes, so you don't do a location search for this one. Every class in winter will be considered extended university. Okay. Don't forget that we have that AV advising tutorial channel on YouTube. There is multiple things in here that you can use if you're having trouble navigating your student portal and it's like 2 a.m. So I would say go to the advising channel and take a look. Okay. And then if you subscribe, you'll get notified every time we post new content. Lastly, we're towards the end. Things to do before your advising appointment. Check and clear all registration holds other than the advising. We'll take care of that for you. Review the advising paperwork we email you to make sure that you know what questions you have for us. Watch any tutorial videos that you feel you need tutorials on. And then try searching for classes. If it's too early to add them, just put them in your shopping cart. If it's time to register, just go ahead and add them. And we can always help you double check or make changes as needed. And then lastly, remember to write down your questions. A lot of the time, by the time we're in the appointment, we forget what to ask. And so if you write them beforehand, you'll be able to remember what we wanted to ask. Jennifer, anything else you can think of we need to do before advising?
I think that was pretty clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Jennifer. When you
Thank
have your advising appointment, and Jennifer might be asking to shadow your appointment, you can let us know if you're comfortable with her sitting in at that time, but we will always ask your permission before we proceed. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Don't
thank you for
forget
watching.
to write down your appointment day and time. You will get reminders from Runner Connect. But if you do miss your appointment, and we can't reschedule because we're booked, try to come see us during walking. Okay. Thank you. Bye.